What's up, creative community? What's up? It's such a pleasure to have you guys back on our channel. Once again, this is Lorenzo from the CoachMc studio. This is the studio where we'll help you to shape unique behavior deliveries and we'll help you to get recognized in the audition room. And today I have 5 questions for you. What does it take to become a remarkable performer? What does it take to really impact the casting director? What does it take to bring a fresh ingredient to my character? What does it take to impact the scene like I never did before? What does it take to bring a new dynamic to something that we call an acting routine? And first and foremost, what does it take to really nail the performance during the scene, during the play, during the whole movie? 5 questions that can be answered with one word only. And whether you are a seasoned veteran to the acting craft or a newbie just starting out, this word, this only word, this single word will revolutionize the way you perform. So buckle up, fasten your seatbelts, because today's acting elements class is all about discoveries and how they can change dramatically how you impact the lens and your audience. Coming up, so let's see what's cooking. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty of today's Acting Elements episode, I want to share a personal experience with you guys I had a couple of years ago to really illustrate what today's topic is all about. I think it will give you a way better grip on how you can use this very powerful Acting Elements tool to boost up your performance. A couple of years ago, I was in Italy, in Rome, rehearsing for this theater play. I was playing this American psychiatrist who moved from Brooklyn to Rome to observe and study 2 very rare cases of a very complex and rare mental disorder called cancer. It really exists, and this disorder is a very special and highly complex and also dangerous form of schizophrenia. If you think about Fight Club and the character Edward Norton is interpreting, that's cancer. That's actually what cancer is all about. You imagine somebody who's completely different from yourself, who has all the advantages, who looks great, who is awesome, who is absolutely breathtaking, and he's living that high quality life. You are duplicating your personality and giving that personality into a totally different body. That is, in a nutshell, what cancer is all about. So I was playing this psychiatrist and I was rehearsing for this very beautiful and nicely written play by a very young director, and the director was also part of our actors team, and we were rehearsing for I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks straight. And I was playing this psychiatrist after, of course, I did my study and research on Jung, on Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis, and I was rehearsing these scenes where I would actually, talk to the patient and kind of taking my notes and calling my fellow colleagues to kind of illustrate them my progress and asking them back for any type of recommendation or help that I could get from them. I was really frustrated in the process because I felt alone as a character working with these patients and with this very strange and complex disorder that was very challenging to the character. After 3 weeks, the director approached me and said, "When do you actually want to start playing the character?" And I was very surprised and also a bit depressed and frustrated because I thought I was already playing the character. I was already in the zone. I kind of replied to him, "What is wrong with the character that I'm currently portraying? Don't you like him? Don't you think he's interesting? Don't you think he's very powerful? I have to play a scientist. I have to play this psychiatrist. I have to be very strict. I have to have some sort of authority. Don't you agree?" And the director said, "Yeah, that's all good. It's beautiful, and to a certain extent, everything that you're saying makes sense from a rational point of view. But what I want you to do is to really believe that this patient that you're currently observing will change your life, that this patient is important to you." And again, I replied, "But he is important to me. I moved to Rome from Brooklyn. I'm here. I changed my life just to study him. I put my private life on a hold just because this case is so fundamentally important to me." And it's like, no, you're playing somebody who is just obsessed about his career and about how this will boost his career, but you're not obsessed about the patient. You do not care about this person, about this living human being. He's not important to you, and you're not making any discoveries. What are you talking about? I'm making discoveries all through the day, right? We were rehearsing and the patient was giving me something and I was like, "Oh, this is very interesting," and taking my notes. And he said, "Yeah, that looks all beautiful, but it's routine. It's rationalized. It's not really you at your core making any discoveries about this patient." And then we had this very long and extensive talk, and the director really showed me, based on the text also, what kind of potential every scene had. and that I was wasting 90% of the acting potential of every scene because I was just playing this cold, authoritarian, very intelligent character. All beautiful features, but all very cold features. They were not hot, they were not warm, they were not intimate. They were not private. I was always trying to put a wall between me and the patient. I was always trying to play this Freud-like psychiatrist, sitting on his chair, taking the notes, looking smart, looking handsome, and being obsessed with his craft. And to a certain extent, that is true. That is part of the character. But in order to make the character important, to make him grand, to really let him feel what he is really truly connected to, and what is so important about the actions that he's performing, I had to connect way more with my patient. I had to make sure to discover what this patient was all about. Not just taking notes, rationalized notes about his behavior, how he looked and how he kind of reacted to some of my questions. No. You see, this is a perfect example for many scenes out there. Whether you are a newbie or a seasoned actor who is a regular on a series, there is nothing worse on screen, on camera, there is nothing worse on stage than routine. Because routine is boring. If there is not a discovery in your play, if there is not a discovery in your act, then it's boring, because acting is all about discovering. It's a chain of discoveries that you have during your scene, during your play, during your movie, even during rehearsals. If you don't have discoveries, you won't be proactive. It's just playing out your rationalized process. The core isn't involved because you don't get any connection. You're not bridging the gap. You are making the gap even bigger. You're excavating even more of that gap instead of building that bridge, instead of getting to the other character. I was just taking notes as this psychiatrist. I wasn't really discovering what the other character was telling me. I wasn't believing that that could really have an impact on my life. I was just focused on, oh, this is gonna boost my career, but how does it boost my career? Because, and that was the flaw in my thinking. I was just following the script, but yet the script just sets the scene. The script tells you where you are. What you have to uncover for your character lies underneath that script, lies underneath the surface of the character. And that you have to add on your own. You have to make sure to uncover all these needs, all these subtexts. They're not written in the text. It's not a romance, it's not a scientific text, it's a play. It should entertain. So every scene is life boiled down to its extreme, to its essence. And you have to make sure that when you have a scene of 3 minutes, let's say, to put everything in there that you can, to make it big, to play for your life. So the discoveries I was making with this patient, they were very important to me. My life was depending on it. Not only my career, my private life, my relationships, my sanity itself. And the way I was standing in life, my purpose, my reputation. Every word the patient was saying to the doctor that I was interpreting could be something that could change the way I look at this very rare mental disorder totally, and finally give me the breakthrough so I would be finally accepted in the scientific community. Nothing of that I was playing. By reacting in such a superficial way to what the patient had to tell me, I was giving also wrong feedback to my colleague that was playing the patient. Because by not paying too much attention, by playing it very small and very distant, and by having this enormous gap between me and her, my patient, she would also stay on her very comfortable island of being this patient, of complaining about life, of not understanding what was wrong with her body. From that day on, I had this very important discussion with my director. Her performance changed as well. Because now I was paying attention, and now she felt important. Now she knew, okay, he's not only interested in what I have to say as a patient, right? I just have a number. No, he's interested in me as a human being. Maybe I want to make a good impression. Maybe I want him to like me. Maybe I'm start falling in love with him. There are so many things between being a patient and being the doctor, so many different currents. Like being a coach and being an actor, being a director and being the protagonist. There's so many currents, so many facets of that human relationship. So many unsaid things that play such an important role in how we behave and how we react. If we get rid of discoveries, of making discoveries, of searching for those discoveries, of sailing out because you're sure you're gonna make those discoveries, and that is true for a play as well as for the audition, we're getting rid of one of the most important tools that we have, connecting to the other character, connecting to the reader, connecting to the lens. I want to make discoveries about the lens. I want to make discoveries about my audience. I'm interested in who they are. And maybe my game plan will change once I realize that the discoveries that I'm currently making are way more interesting and entertaining than what I had previously in mind, how I would play it out. And this is true for regulars on long running shows as well. They get into the routine of shooting every day or once a week or once a month. They know the character. Now, let's say it's a crime series. They have to investigate. They listen to the answers of the people that are suspected of murder or how witnesses or to the judge. But it's, if you don't make discoveries in all of those scenes, your cases will always be the same. Your scenes will always be the same, because discoveries, they make you think of something new. And that new thing, that is exciting. And that is absolutely tangible in your eyes. And that will impact your counterpart, your other characters, your fellow colleagues as well. They will react in a different way. So if you come on set every day with the intention, with the mission to discover something new, well, that will set off a chain reaction with the other colleagues, and the show will of course have an increment, will of course be more valuable. The show will be more interesting because all of a sudden everybody's making discoveries. All of a sudden everybody's way more involved with the process. Everybody's way more involved with the process of the mind and the process of the heart. It's life-changing. It's a game of life and death. Every scene is a game of life and death. And you have to make sure as a character that you make those discoveries to prevent death or to inject life. So if I would have played that right from the start, my rehearsal would have been, way more proactive right from the start. I would have invested less energy and would have had more output, more value with my performance right from the start, instead of playing out this boring routine for 2 weeks straight. This is the idea of what I'm trying to tell you with today's Acting Elements episode, guys. And let me know in the comments down below right now what you think about it. Truly, life is about making discoveries, or not. If we close ourselves down, if we close our eyes, if we just have the rationalized process, our heart is not involved anymore. So we're just, blindly tapping into fields that we know or we might not know perfectly, but we always stay in our comfortable zone of not risking too much. We have to risk. We have to lean over the balcony. If you're traveling by ship, is there anything more beautiful than leaning over and seeing how that ship divides the sea? You are piercing through the sea, through the ocean to get to the harbor of your destination, to your next stop. You have a mission, a goal in mind, but that doesn't mean that you lose sight and track of where you're currently at and how beautiful the waves are splitting up. And each and every second the ship is traveling through its destination, through the sea towards its destination. We need to realize how beautiful the current process is, and we can only do that by making discoveries. If you don't lean over, if you don't look down, if you don't see that there is an ocean of information, of life, of beauty waiting for you to be pierced through, why you think it's called Parsifal and the Knights of the Round Table? Parsifal means he's piercing. He's piercing the heart. He's piercing the dragon. He's piercing everything. He wants to divide. He wants to see what's left and right. Lean over. Make discoveries. Ask stupid questions. Don't get satisfied with the surface of things. You have to add the subtext. And the subtext, it's not written in the text. It's based on your discoveries and how it can change also. I was playing that abstraction of what I think a psychiatrist has to look like, instead of just focusing on the human condition and instead of just focusing on me. It is vital that she gives me the responses that I need to fulfill my mission, to get accepted in the scientific community, to write down a new book that will revolutionize psychoanalysis all over the world. I excluded 90% of the acting potential out of 2 weeks of rehearsals because I wasn't making any discoveries. Discoveries is one of those elements that are truly, let me say the word because I know you're waiting for it, and give me a like right away because I'm about to drop the word, crucial. It's crucial. As a seasoned veteran actor as well as a newbie, it's crucial to make discoveries because that will take away nervosity. Also when you're facing a casting director. Because once you're set out, right, the ship that is piercing through the ocean, once you're set out to make discoveries, what is going to hold you back? There is no insecurity or nervosity because you know what your mission is. I always say this, a good actor goes to an audition and he knows probably is going to be some surprises. You know, that his system is prepared for some surprises. You might not know what's going to happen inside of the room, whether it's distractions or, you know, a new side that you have to learn in 15 minutes, or maybe the director is giving you totally different directions, right? So there could be, you know, potentially there could be some surprises inside of the casting director's office, inside of the room, or also on set or on stage, of course, as well. So a good actor sets out with the knowledge that surprises will show up today. A great actor, a remarkable actor, an outstanding actor, he sets out to look for those surprises, to uncover those potential surprises, to discover what's new. He's not afraid of the new, so you're not nervous anymore. Because usually we're nervous when we're doing something new and unexpected or a bit uncomfortable. But if you're setting out to do exactly that, where's your nervosity? You're not in the back of your head anymore. You're injecting something completely new into your system. You're uplifting your behavior delivery enormously because you're open. You're not rationalizing the process anymore. You're right in there. Using this to kind of, you know, drive through, to kind of, you know, take those angles. But here, it is curiosity at its best. How to impact a casting director? By discovering what the read could also mean to you, and not just playing out the routine. Oh yeah, I know what this character is all about. Okay, I know this casting director perfect. I know what I have to deliver. Yeah, I know. But you're not playing. Knowing is here, feeling is down here. When both combine, then you have a great play. But just rationalizing it won't take you far. It won't be entertaining, it won't be interesting. Why you're interesting? Because you're ready to discover, and you're ready to change your game plan according to what you discovered. Because that shows smartness as a character and as the human being interpreting that character. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comment section below. Discoveries are the truth about you, about the scene. You could make a discovery in that moment about how you played 15 years ago, and how now everything drastically has changed, and put that conscience about what has changed into the scene in this very moment. What is different now compared to 15 years ago? That's a discovery. What will be different in the future? Oh, I realize this will change dramatically in the future. Discovery. Look how it changes and affects your behavior. Don't use your energy, your vital, pulsating, beautiful life. Don't invest that energy to build up a wall, to artificially kind of surround yourself with this fear of non-attachment to things. That is okay if you have to find your concentration, but then it won't take you far. Because if you're not attached to things, you won't be involved with things, you won't be affected by things, you won't make any discoveries. And if you don't make any discoveries, the casting director doesn't make any discoveries about you, about how this scene could be played in a different way. Even if you're not totally nailing the audition, you were playing the scene in a different way, and the casting director will acknowledge that. Don't get that confused though by getting distracted by everything, by picking up on every tiny little detail. Of course, making discoveries to what is useful to your performance, nothing else. Discard the useless, take in what's useful. What's the influence of this episode of Acting Elements? What's the influence of your character on the other character, on the movie, on the play? Make that discovery, what the influence is. We don't ask that. We know exactly what we have to say, we have our audition prep, we have our techniques, we go in there, deliver. But what's the influence? How are you impacting, are you influencing the life of the character that you're having this conflict with? Let that turmoil get the best of you and then return to close it down. Because by opening up, we show our best intentions. Coming back to what I said in the beginning, this is also vital for seasoned actors. And I see this with myself. I'm talking out of personal experience here. Because like you probably know by now, I'm always shooting. Pretty much every day I'm on set. If I don't make discoveries on set, they will kick me out. They will fire me. But I'm on the show for 15 years now. So there are a few things that I made right. There are a lot of things that I made wrong. You can believe me that. I made some terrible mistakes. We know it. We always want to take the path of least resistance. So yeah, maybe you started your new project with a lot of emphasis and enthusiasm. But over time, we kind of, we get comfortable. We take the path of least resistance. We lose that 100% drive and focus. And one of the things we lose first is to make discoveries. Because we think we got it. We got it figured out. What are my discoveries for? If the character's already here. The character is there. You presented him through the text. The lines, the script is telling you where he's at. But you have to add the life underneath the surface of the character's decision. You have to add the warmth, the connection, the bridge to the other characters, even if it's not scripted. Because you can't always rely on what's there. You have to add something new, something on your own. You have to be courageous. Think about all the explorers of the past that geared up and said, you know what? I'm gonna drive west and see what's there. I'm gonna sail out on a boat and let's see if I can find a new land, a new opportunity, a new way of interpreting life. Because ultimately, Isaac Asimov once said that in his opinion, the universe was born out of curiosity. No frequency, no darkness, no chaos, all that. No, the universe itself had the urge of discovering what's next. So discover what's next. Always step up the game. Always bring a new notion into it. Always ask yourself what the next line actually means. And be proactive towards your counterpart, towards the other characters in the scene, towards yourself even if you're interpreting a monologue. Always discover what it leads to and don't over-rationalize the process, because by doing so you leave out 90% of the acting potential. Take everything in there. Stumble, fail, make mistakes, but because you were searching for something, not because you played it safe. You want to bridge that gap. You want to get on the other side of the river. How can you do that? By building. How can you do that? By searching for the right tools. How can you do that? By inform yourself how to construct everything, how to assemble everything, and then you can walk comfortably over that bridge. But in order to do all those things, you have to make a lot of discoveries. If you don't do them, you will stay on your comfortable island for the rest of your life and playing out your routine. That is very, very boring. Great acting is made of a chain of events. And how do you get to that event? How do you get to these chains of events? By making little discoveries. An enormous amount of discoveries will lead to a new event. An enormous amount of new events will lead to the reason. The reason will lead to your actions. The actions will lead to a great performance. A great performance will lead to standing ovations. Standing ovations will lead to success. And that is how the cycle closes down. Have so much fun with it. Let us know in the comment section below what you got out of this. If you have any other questions, inquiries, remarks, please drop us a line through our website. It's the CoachMc.studio. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't so far and share this video to your community, because ultimately, guys, our mission here at the CoachMc Studio is to create a thriving community of great actors for ever better performances, truly remarkable performances. Smash the bell to get notified every time we grind out a new video, and follow our other adventures on Instagram and Facebook. It's the CoachMc. And that's pretty much it. Have fun with your performance. See you next time, guys, with the next video. Now, you're ready to perform.